Well, hello, and welcome on into the stream. I'm Andy Arconix, Alu the Crow, Alucard MG36, and many other names. And today is, of course, Tuesday, August 23rd. What's going on? How are we doing, everybody? Caden, thank you for the host. I appreciate it. Hopefully, we're all doing well. You know, we're just out here vibing, doing a whole lot of fun things. And, you know, there's been a lot of stuff that we've been trying to work on. Yo, what's going on? Caden, thank you for the host, by the way. Thank you all for retweeting the stream. So, we have some stuff going on, and actually, one of the interesting things that I'm noticing here is that some of my changes apparently didn't make it up. And that's very interesting, isn't it? So, what I might have to do is at some point just go and repush. It's fascinating that they didn't make it up today. I thought I pushed them all. No biggie. No biggie, chat. Might just have to enjoy some music for a little bit as I go and try and figure this out. But really, one way or another, yesterday was a lot of good stuff. We actually managed to do a few things that were quite out of what I thought we were going to be able to get done. And one of those big things was, of course, redefining our enumerations, redefining some of our extensions, and just getting things to be a little bit more robust than they were before. And now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to focus on adding some guards and adding some better exception handling behavior. But then, of course, we are going to return to the enumerations by making sure that when we go along with them, part of what we want to add here is going to be a bit more of the, how do I put this? We're trying to get the flags to work, right? And so enumeration flags are going to be a big deal, because a lot of people declare enumerations with the flags in hopes that they don't have to define too much else beyond what's in the standard enumeration. And what a flag is essentially is telling you what bit is going to be active at some point. And they're typically done in powers of 2, and they're part of what can make a standard enumeration much more powerful. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make our enumerations a little bit smarter. And so in doing so, it's a little bit more of a uphill road, a little bit more of a challenge, if you will. But I think at the end of the day, it's a little bit more worth it. Simply due to just the idea that what we want to get done here is we want to add something to this library that makes it far more substantial and far more consolidated than what we were working with before. And so, again, as part of that, an additional caveat that we want to do is we want to make sure that our particular implementations and our particular works for here don't actually make anything just as awful as it has been, right? And so what do I mean by that? I mean, we want to, of course, cut down on memory usage, but we want to increase safety across the types, and we want to also increase thread safety, right? And so part of that is going to be coming from the idea that we're working with immutability and just immutable reference types, as well as structs, okay? And so we're working on that side of things as well. Now, one of the advantages that we have is that we are using C#11, and that allows us to use record structs. And all that means is essentially we get a default implementation of IEquatable, and then all we need to do is add an IEnumerable interface over that. So one of the other things that we're going to, hold on, let me go and double check something real fast. Okay, we're good there. We're good here. I might change my color theme, you know. That might be the only thing that I do. But yeah, simply because it's a little blue for my taste right now. But yeah, one of the big things that we're working on here, and one of the things I'm actually going to have to go up and push probably in the next couple moments. Sorry about that, chat, but you know, we got to do that. And we also got to talk about Hmm. Strange. Oh, no, I don't want it to play. I just want it to go. It's so blue, chat. What the hell? Oh, that's even worse. What does this look like? Nah, you know what? We'll go back to this. That's fine. All right. Anyway, chat. I got a little sidetracked there, but we part of our point here and part of the idea when we're developing this library is to keep making things better, right? And that is going to be part of what we want to do with our software as we continue to do things in greater and greater quantities. Is that we want to make sure that our software just gets better for people to use. And better is not really a good metric. What do I mean by better? What am I trying to underline here? That it's easier for people to use, one, it's more accessible for people to use, two, it doesn't fail people when they use it, three, and it's, of course, efficient in terms of memory, space, and performance. And so that's what we're trying to get to. Now, granted, currently there are, a good amount of people who have already downloaded our software, right? There is 1,400 downloads, which is something else. I'm doing well, Keo. How are you? Nani? What's going on, Del? How are we doing? And so now that we have that, the next thing, of course, that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go and update our other libraries, of course. But realistically, and at the end of the day, one of the big things that we're going to see here is, again, this idea of consistent upward improvement in terms of memory usage, in terms of just dropping by to say hi, hanging with your friend Logan. Oh, nice. Hope you're having fun. Thanks for dropping by. And same to you, wifey. But anyway, one of the big ideas that we want to go by here is just making sure that we is the improvement. Now, as usual with all of our streams, before we go and get started and before we actually go down into the nitty and gritty, I want to get a few things out of the way. Number one is, of course, if you want and if you need to, you can always ask me for any of the particular reasonings or rationale behind my desired code changes. Number two is going to be, of course, if you feel so inclined to as well, you can always participate in any of the GitHubs or any of the discussion boards that I have. You can go and find those in my profile link underneath. There should also be a there should be a repository extension underneath here as well. And then, of course, there is the idea that I do back up most of my streams to YouTube as well for future viewing. I'll be trying to get and edit them into smaller content sizes as well for just general performance things and things like that. And then, of course, we have our charities that we're raising for. One of them is Girls Who Code. Girls Who Code is an organization dedicated to getting more women in the software, although they've expanded that definition to be regardless of identity as well as expression, just to get more people interested in the software from marginalized communities. And the idea here is that this falls in line with the Omenden's charter to make software far more accessible on a global scale, going beyond cultures and identities and expressions to create software that is accessible and more globally useful. And then we are also supporting the charity known as Mermaids. Mermaids is a charity in the United Kingdom dedicated to the trans, non-binary, and gender-questioning youth. It's a charity that's near and dear to my heart personally, and it's also part of the Omenden's charter to create more accessible software, because I know friends who... Keo, thank you so much for gifting that sub out to House of Mike. House of Mike, welcome back to the Omenden. Hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your ad-free viewing. Please make sure you give Keo thanks whenever you can. And thank you so much again, Keo. Mods, can we get a shout out to Keo, actually? I forgot. We didn't do that earlier. But yeah, I'm going to be jumping into a Discord call in just a moment, but before we go and do that, of course, we were talking about mermaids, and I highly recommend you go and check either of these charities out. They are wonderful organizations, and please, whatever you can do to help, either by giving what you can or by just checking out, spreading the message, and spreading awareness of their existence would be great. So, without much further ado, why don't we go to the BRB screen real quick. I'm going to go push some changes and figure out why they're not here. And I know we just started, so I'll be quick. Hey, sorry about that. Sorry. I am back now. Oh my god, that was terrifying. All right, so one of the big things, of course, that we're going to have to do is, well, we're going to have to go into here and double check that things got pushed. Yep, updated 2 minutes ago. There we go. Fantastic. It's building. I don't really care if the build passes or fails at this point, because we're going to go and change this out, of course. So anyway, yeah. Oh man. Oh man. All right. Anyway, before I get a little disorganized, I'm gonna hop into a call because I was asked to do so. And we'll go and see what happens here. Let me go and actually change my audio so y'all can hear us. Wait, there's a devices mode on Discord? Ayo, say less. That's sick. All right. Anyway, let's get on in here. All right. So now, let's listen to some jazz. All right, chat. So, part of what we're working on here, and part of the idea... Hey, Caden, what's going on?
Not much.
Right on.
Ooh, I can stream the Spotify song you're listening to? Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Let's go and bring in all of our changes. Now it should work. Oh my god. Can't believe I forgot to push up and grab changes back from earlier today.
No.
I must have written at least 3,000 lines of code total.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I got another TypeScript library I have to go and redo.
You TypeScript.
You're telling me. So let's go and see. Yeah, so we added this guards folder, right? And this guards folder has a particular set of templates that we're working on. You'll notice that I named the interface here icon guard. And now what we're doing is we're just working with this idea of icon guard against. And everything else beneath here is going to be labeled as guard. Now, granted, I'm probably going to get rid of this and just make this a static class, so that way we don't have to deal with this kind of deal. And we can just do things like have the partial class well defined. So we can go and see how this will change. But ideally, what we're trying to do is we're trying to form guards, so that way we can have a fail fast and fail early principle. And the reason why we want to do that is twofold. One, because it can actually take care of some issues beforehand. And two, it can take care of issues at the beginning of runtime, which is something that we want. So with that in mind, no, we don't want to do a return there. We just want to make things be a little bit better. Okay. That should not be there. This should be here. And that'll work. Awesome. Thanks for the retweet, everybody. I appreciate it. I had to do something about my lights. They seem a little off.
Yeah, they almost. I mean, they seem very drowning. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what happened. It might just be my camera taking a long time to adjust.
Maybe. Does it seem really saturated when you're in the office?
No.
Yeah, because it looks like you're like drowned out in like a bright blue filter.
Right? I don't know. Might just be a consequence of keeping it up for a while.
Yeah,
well.
possibly.
In any case, yeah, this is kind of the big deal that we've been working on here, is just trying to get this to work in and of itself. And what we're actually going to do is we're just going to make this static. Public static partial class. Static classes can't implement custom interfaces like that. So then we can get rid of that there, and everything else underneath here will fall into place. I'm excited. I'm probably going to be getting a VTuber in the next couple weeks as soon as I pay for it.
Ooh, who's doing it?
Buy My Vacuums.
Ah, interesting.
And
I think I've heard of them.
And I am going to, of course, leave a link for them because they're awesome, but you can always shout them out. They do stream as well.
What are they? What are they called?
Buy My Vacuums, one word.
Praying I spell vacuums right.
VA something. I don't know. Spelling's not my strong suit.
Okay, 1C, 2 U's.
Nice. Yeah,
Oh,
go
of
give
course
them
they
a
were playing
follow.
that game.
Yeah, they are lovely. All right, so let's see here. We got this going on. We got all this here. From empty collection. Something tells me that this isn't right.
What? I was following them on Twitter, but not on Instagram. No, not Twitter. I was following them on Twitter, not on Twitch.
Ah,
oh, they drew
gotcha.
Jamaica.
Yes. They are quite amazing in general. There we go. That changes things. Perfect. So yeah, all these are just a series of overloads with generic constraints, but it works out at the end of the day. The only problem that we've been finding here is that when we actually want to use them, and we want to use this in the enumeration-based flag extraction, we notice here that our particular implementation doesn't actually work out the way we want it to work out. But hey, now it's static, so who cares?
Fair.
Go into here.
Oh, I love that they're using my reference for this jargon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gave me a reference sheet, so might as well use it, right?
True. Very true.
We're gonna line some stuff up here. Streaming will help my sleep deprivation, right?
I don't know.
Expression is always false. Uh-oh. That'll work. Okay, so let's go. And I'm actually going to get rid of this interface because we don't need it anymore. What's going on, Caden? How's the new mattress?
Well, knowing how all of my animals and my mom absolutely loved it, my mom was like, "Man, wow, maybe I should sleep on it tonight instead of you." And I was like, "Oh, well,
Uh-huh.
But it is quite comfy so far.
It's good that it's comfy. So let's see here. We have this idea, right? And actually, the other thing that we should probably do is implement a guard against null or empty on the string. That would probably be a good idea. So, that'll be something to essentially figure out and work here, or at least work with, right? And so we have other aspects that we can actually work with. So things like guard against null and things like that. There are also, of course, guard for streams and things like that. But again, the strategy here, at least the idea here, is to fail early, fail often.
Because
So,
failure is what makes scientific experimentation possible.
well, I shouldn't say fail often, but fail early and detect often.
Yeah, detect the issues before they become bigger issues.
Yeah, that's kind of the advantage that this provides. Oh boy. But otherwise, you know, it can be quite the exercise to just work with and just do. And it's quite fun to just kind of take this exercise and extend it into what we're working on. Because again, one of the big things that we want to make sure that we do consistently, right, is increase our software's reliability. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. We're just trying to increase the reliability. Oh man, I'm wondering, probably not gonna stream tomorrow. Against null or empty. Public, partial, or public static, partial class, guard. I'll do this. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna stream tomorrow, and part of the reason for that is just going to be, kind of just want to vibe, you know, want to hang out on my own, relax. But then I'll probably end up streaming, so it is what it is. So anyway, kind of like the others, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, of course, public static void, because we want to be able to call these methods just based off of saying guard dot something. And then we'll do what we're protecting from. So I'd like to say guard from, and then we'll do null or empty. And here we can then do pass in our parameter and pass in the type of exception, because that's what we're working with. Any generic exception will do. And then we want to do this, and we also want to specify making sure that it is a newly created exception. And then we can do if exception is null, throw new argument null of exception, name of exception, and then we call guard dot from condition, and then we of course give it our condition. String dot is null or empty, parameter, and then the exception. And so here now all we're saying is, okay, so for this particular method, we're passing in a parameter and an exception, and we're just allowing this to be the guard point. And so everything else is going to build off of this, or it's going to build on top of it, if you will.
I was wondering who was talking, and I was getting ads in Spotify.
Ah, gotcha.
I was like, who's talking? And it's like, oh wait, I'm getting a Spotify ad.
Who is this? What happened?
What happened?
Who knows? Not me. All right, and so now what we can do is we can do public static void from null or empty. Oh, hey Jay, what's going on?
Has the last voice come back to Jay?
Yes, voice is much better.
That's
Yay.
awesome news. Glad to hear it.
But I do need to change it to push to talk 1 second.
All good.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
So now the other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our message templates, of course. Because what's cooler than getting it set up in the series of templates, right? I mean, I think that's a pretty nifty way to go about things. And so we'll do not null or empty template. I am using string.format because you'll note that this is a particular format provided. And then here we'll do messages base parameter name. All right, and this will only happen if the particular message that we pass in isn't null or isn't already verified. And here we'll do var exception equals create exception, which we've defined. This create exception will be of type T exception. And this will, of course, contain the message. And then we will, of course, do not null or from null or empty. Passing in the parameter and the exception. And this is what I mean by everything builds off of this. And of course, we still want to do this and this, and just make sure that every method that we define has the same exact type constraints. It's important to remain consistent, isn't it?
Yeah, consistency would be a nice thing.
Right? Now, of course, this is inspired by a couple of guard libraries. And we want to make sure that this is, of course, referenced in our README. So we'll go and do that, of course. Because if we don't, then who are we really cheating but a future user who needs to see the reference point or try and understand how we arrived at working with this pattern, right? How are they going to use this effectively if they can't see the inspiration that came into here? And so that's something that we want to work with, is making sure that we credit our sources and that our inspirations are known. And so here what we're going to do is we're going to build the message again. And for this message, we're essentially just going to be able to copy this down here. I know it seems like a lot of code, but bear with me. Or at least a lot of repeating code, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, there's no big deal here. And then we'll do from null or empty. And here we'll pass in the parameter and the message. Cool.
Oh no, Jay, what is this?
Jay.
Jay sends memes.
It's saying media could not be played. RIP.
I have to do...
There it goes.
Did you send me something, Jay? Yeah, you did.
The same thing.
All right, I'll check it out later.
No. That's just bad.
Parameter T exception never used. Maybe that would help. So now we got that. The next thing that we can do is we can then go and define another method over this. Public static void from null or empty. The exception. Actually, no, we don't need to type param this. So what we can do is we can do string parameter, string parameter name, because now we're actually going to go and pass in the parameter name. And then the message. And here, kind of the same deal. If string that is null or white space, parameter name, set parameter name equal to the messages that base parameter name. And if message string that is null or white space, message set message equal to string dot format message messages dot null or empty template, and then we would do parameter name. And the reason why we do this after is so now it's either going to be, of course, the base parameter name, or it will be just whatever parameter name we supply. That's pretty nifty. All right, so now we have that. Then we can, of course, go and create an argument exception. And we can do message and then pass in the parameter name. And then we can do the not null or from null or empty. And here we can pass in, of course, the parameter and the argument exception. And this is essentially how we're building these overloads backwards to forwards, right? And then one of the other things that we're going to do is, of course, we're going to be able to check and make sure that as we go and use these guard clauses and as we go and use these guard methods, we should have, of course, a little bit more robust protection in our application. And that's going to be nice. We do this parameter. String parameter name, and so this method only supplies a parameter and parameter name and doesn't supply the message. So we can do from null or empty, and there we go. Pretty simple. All right. So now we have that. And essentially the next part of this is, of course, going to be from null or white space. Which is going to be a relatively easy thing to set up. Because essentially we're just changing stuff up here. So we can go and do a new guard class, and we'll just call this against null or white space. We'll do this. And here, from null or white space. There we go. And we can do that. Create exception. Public static partial class guard. Oh, did this get created in templates? Oh, no, it didn't. Namespace, the omenden.share.guards. There we go. Nifty. So that works out for us. And we're good here. Jay, I'm glad to hear you got your voice back.
Yeah, I think it was just allergies, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
I feel you on that.
Allergies can go die in a fire.
They really can.
But like, I took everything under the sun to try to help. Like, it was Mucinex, Claritin, generic allergy medicine, Dayquil, NyQuil. Nothing worked. Did honey and tea. Did like just hot water and anything that would just clear it, and nada.
I feel for you on that.
I can't even take cough medicine. I'm somehow allergic to this stuff.
Interesting. I wonder what part of it is allergic.
It's the decongestant part, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. We should probably change our message template to not null or white space. That would be a good call. That way we don't get a
Probably.
confusing set of messages. We just get one consistent message. Perfect. Okay, so now we have that from null or white space. Love that for us. Jazz is doing wonders, of course. Jazz.
Jazz is great for springing up motivation.
Really is. Where are my elses? What's up, Thindal? Elses are a scam. I refuse to use them. Why use elses when I can just control the flow myself? Can we get a shout out to Thindal, please? Thank you, Jay.
It's just a habit at this point.
Right.
But yeah, essentially all we're doing is just going through, validating some of our input, just and adding a little bit of functionality as time goes on. That's kind of the idea. Hence. Negative value. You're actually working on using them, yes. Verbose and specific is good sometimes. It really is. I just do my best not to use them. Because I'm in the habit of convincing myself of certain anti-patterns. And I see else as an anti-pattern. Let's go and work on this one. And so what we want to do here is we do want to make sure that we're protecting against essentially a negative value. Except for when we have an attribute that says we can do but that'll be well, we can do that at something of an authority on anti-patterns and control flow. You use a go-to unironically. Oh no, Thindal, don't say that. Not here. But I feel for you on that. Sometimes, sometimes you got to, and sometimes you just test it on it, right?
Nani?
Nani? Sometimes that's just how it be,
Yeah.
Actually, I think what we'll do is instead we'll just say against lesser values. And here, what we'll do is we'll just go through and we will essentially just use the iComparable interface to our advantage here. And I think that'll work out well for us overall. So what I'm going to say is we're just going to do what we've done before, right? Where we go and build our base method and then just build methods on top of that. So we'll do public static void from values less than. And we'll type this off as a T and then T exception. And we'll do T parameter, T I'm going to call this lower threshold. And then we'll do T exception, exception. And so here what we'll do is we'll then make sure that T has to implement iComparable type T. Or actually we could further extend it and just say can implement iComparable or iComparable type T. And then T exception has to be an exception and or not null and a new reference. Actually, was during the get this thing working stage. You got rid of it before you were done. Nice. That's what matters, Thindle. So here we can do if exception is null, throw new argument null exception. And then here we can do from condition parameter dot compare to lower threshold. And if this is less than 0, which means that it is less than, should raise the exception. All right, and then the next method, of course, as you know, public static void from values less than T exception, and of course, everything's going to have to follow essentially the same idea. But pretty much once we get to these two base methods, everything else will just fall into play. Fall into place. Yep. There we go. So we do that if string dot is null or white space. Message parameter M. No, just parameter. Message equals string dot format messages. Oh, we don't have a template for that. So we'll just say less than value template. And then here we will attach the messages that base parameter name and then threshold. Since you just got here, do you have an elevator pitch for what I'm doing today? So today, all I'm doing is setting up some guard clauses so that way we can get our enumerations with flags working. Because we're going to need these for specific methods here so that way we can fail early during somebody's testing runtime. That's kind of the idea. So right now what we're doing is we're just defining a certain set of templates to kind of assist us with this, right? And so what we want to do, public const string less than value template equals, and we'll define it pretty much in the same way here. It cannot be less than provided threshold. So that'll work. And we can just do this. Perfect. There we go. Oh, whoops. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So now what we can do here is we can essentially just say, okay, from values less than, and we will build our exception. So if our exception equals create exception, T exception, and here we'll supply the message that we just did, and then we'll do parameter, lower threshold, and then exception. Perfect. So now we have our two essentially base methods that always, end up calling the precondition. But right now, what we're seeing here is, of course, just essentially this open idea of now we can go and do some fun stuff, kind of like this. And still make it work. What a good time to be king. So essentially the only difference between these two methods is just going to be the type parameters that we set in. So this no longer needs the T exception, and this no longer needs the T exception. So now what we can do is we can do if string that is null or white space. And we'll do parameter name, and here we'll do parameter name equals messages dot base parameter name, and if string dot is null or white space message, because there should always be a message, message equals string dot format messages dot less than value template. And here we'll pass in the parameter name and the lower threshold. And then down here, var argument out of range exception. New argument out of range exception. And this will take in the parameter name and the message. And we'll do from value less than. Parameter lower threshold. There we go. Perfect. And now, for the topmost method, or at least what should be the topmost method, we can always just do from values less than. And there we are. And it's that simple. That simple, chat. And now we have an effective guard clause. And so now what we can do is we can come back into here and we can do guard that from values less than, and then we can do numeration. 0. No overload takes 2 arguments. What am I missing here? There you go. Nifty. All right, so let's see here. No. All right, chat. So what we're going to do here is we're just gonna go and try and figure out how we want to work with this particular guard against lesser values, right? So right now what we have the very least here. Let me think about this for a moment. Because remember, we have this allow negative enumeration keys, right? So that's fine. Maybe this needs its own guard. Maybe that's the thing that it needs. We already have the guard here, so maybe we can do this. Against negative values. And then here we should be able to do guard. And then maybe we can do this. And then we can do... Okay, maybe we can do something a little silly, right? So something like public static void gar or from negative values. A t value. So t parameter. And then we can do where t implements I comparable or I comparable of t. Right? So maybe that's the idea. So how do we add the attribute here, right? So that might be something like using the omenden.shared.enumerations.attributes. Okay. And then we'd probably want to do something like build it up from scratch. So public static void from negative values. T exception. Where t implements I comparable or I comparable of t, where t exception is an exception or new. Okay. And then we'll come down here. And we'll copy this. And compared to 0. And we'll pass in t parameter, the exception. Perfect. Okay. So that's fine. So here, what we'll do At least I think what we can do here is we can then, let's see. Let's go back here. Let's grab this one. And we'll do this. We'll copy this. And we'll get rid of this. And we'll, of course, import this, but we'll come down here, grab this, pull a const string less than value template, negative value template cannot be negative value. Cool. Then we'll come back over here. Alright, vampire. That wasn't cool. Thinned all right. Have a good shower. See you soon. I appreciate it. So now, negative.
Yay!
Jay, why? Why you do
Shit.
this?
Because yeah, that's you.
Uh-huh. Yep, you know how to make a guy feel loved. Really do.
Good. I wasn't sure if we knew or not.
What do you mean?
Oh.
Oh my god. Var attribute equals. I'm sorry, but I need to try and scare you at least every few streams out. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Look, Jay rarely does it, okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah, no.
That's true.
And we can get rid of that. So that's all good. Yeah, pretty much all we're doing is we're just building stuff up here in the guard area.
In the GAR area?
Now guard. Here, guard. Negative values.
I had to make a reference. I had to make that joke.
Did you though?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I don't think so, but alright. You do what you gotta do.
It's very Caden of them.
True.
True. Like on Jane, I just both casually agree. It's like, yep, yep.
This does implement iComparable. What in the hell? Okay, whatever. Okay, so we have the attribute if Not null. Turn. Otherwise. From negative values. Parameter. How do we do this for this one? Right, we built up the exception. Negative value template. Parameter. Oh, okay. String parameter name. Okay, now we can do if string dot is null or white space parameter name. Parameter name equals messages dot base parameter name. We do that. Parameter name. That'll work. Name of
Cassie!
Ass Raid. Cassie, what's going on? Welcome on in, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome on in, Cassie. Hope you're doing well. How was your stream? How was Spyro 2? How are we doing? Ellie, what's going on? How are we doing? Ass. Peepo, what's going on? Welcome on in, Raiders. Hey, Kathy. I'm Andy, Alu the Chrome, a variety streamer here on Twitch. I do stream a lot of different things, but really, I mostly just stream code here, and let me tell you, I'm an absolute potato at it. But chat, if you haven't gone and followed the amazing Ass Hike, I highly recommend you go and give them a follow. They are quite entertaining to be around, and actually a really new, fun friend to have. So definitely go and give them a check. So, anyway, oh, Kathy, I'm not stinky though. What's going on? How are we all doing tonight? How's everybody doing? Right now, we are just setting up some things here to make our enumerations have flags, and we're just vibing. And what flags are essentially bitwise operators that allow us to just make things a lot simpler when it comes to defining enumerations. You played a new Genshin update? Nice, Kathy. I'm well, Ellie. I am quite well. I hope you are too. Alu also drives a Warthog like a pro. You right. You right.
You right.
So now we have this. And now the confusing part, though, is that T enumeration, which we have up here, right? T enumeration has to be a reference type. And well, if we get rid of the reference type requirement, nope. You run people over with Warthog? That's true. So it has to be a reference type, and it has to implement iComparable. Oh.
Mongoose. Oh.
So if we do that, and we do that, and we do that, now we have that. Parameter dot compare to. And actually, we can just do that. I'll never forget it. All right, people.
Yeah, sure.
Oh. But yeah, chat, we're just vibing. I'm surprised it wasn't a sleep deprived raid, but hey, you know what? That's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So since we're down to this point, I would think that the easiest way to go about this would be, okay, let's do something like int 32 dot okay, I got an idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an and here, right? And we're going to do int 32 dot try parse parameter out var number and number dot compared to 0. We'll cast that to a string. And there we go. There. Now we've cheated the system a bit. How fun is that? I like cheating the system.
Yeah, well, you can get it done, right?
Oh, that's the whole point of code, right? Is to kind of massage and manipulate your way out of this. And of course, if we have the attribute, we don't need to guard against it. Otherwise, you know, we proceed down. Get rid of our spaces here. Ellie, I don't know if you saw, but yeah, we are over 1,400 downloads on all of our packages, which is awesome.
Yes.
So we're trying to get a new release, and maybe we can get a little bit further into this. So now we got that. So now we're guarding from negative values. And the next thing that we're going to want to guard against is probably going to be invalid inputs, right? So here, what we can do is we can define a new one. We can just say against invalid inputs, input values. I name my guards a little bit more aggressively than I probably should, but hey, you know what? It gets the job done. Neomandan.share.guards. We do that. And then here, let's see here. We probably going to want to build this up from the ground up here. So let's do that. So we can do public static void from invalid input t exception T parameter, T exception, exception, where T is that C sharp? Yes, it is. Iexicron, I believe. Apologize if I butcher your name completely. What's going on? Yes, this is C sharp. I'm a really, I'm a SQL dev, but I do a lot of C sharp for work, so kind of my thing.
And you hate TypeScript.
I will ban you.
Hey, I'm agreeing with you though.
And I hate TypeScript. Get me outta
Exactly.
here.
That's why I said you hate it.
Oh, I thought you said, and hey, TypeScript.
No, I said you hate it.
Gotcha.
It's like you said, J TypeScript.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
You win some, you lose some. So let's see here. From invalid input, we want to build this up from the ground up. So kind of what we did down here, right? Where we build up the from condition. Let's go and do that. And we're not going to do regex options. Instead, what we're going to do is, of course, if exception is null, throw new argument null, exception, name of exception. Otherwise, we want, where is it? Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. From condition. Really, the idea here, right, is that if it's an invalid value, try parse, the integer should take care of that, and we won't really care what we get out of here, you know? So badass. Hey, bud. Thanks for the resub. I appreciate it. For 9 months, by the way. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for that support. How you doing, Sabadass? Can we get a shout out to Sabadass, please? Actually, they're a pretty awesome streamer. We like them a lot. What's going on, bud? Yeah, sus value is always sus. Doing well, just hanging out before bed. Yeah, same here, really. It goes well, bud. It goes well. If attribute is null, if exception is null. Let's see. So realistically, what we would want to do is we would want to do something like in32.tryParse, and then here we would do something along the lines of parameter.toString out, and we would discard the result because we don't really care about it too much. And I guess we could do that, right? And then we would just pass in the exception. All right. And so we really don't care. Guard. And this would be a public static partial class. And yeah, so we don't really care about the result here, but this is kind of the idea that we'd be going after, right? Is that we would just be checking to see if we could parse it. And here's the thing. All right, we're already doing that down here. This was kind of the cheat that I mentioned, is that this should also guard against invalid inputs, but it might be better to have it as an extra step. So I'm going to keep this implementation, but we will we'll just go and copy the rest of this and kind of explore our options afterwards, right? So let's go and do that. And we'll do this. And we'll do this. And we'll do this. And that's all set. We'll come down into messages. And we'll do precondition. Not value cannot be null or empty. So we'll do public const string invalid value template. Was an invalid value, or was supplied with an invalid value. Good enough. That makes more sense. All right. And now we can do that. And we can do that. That's good enough. Okay. So now we got that. We call from invalid input. We're good there. We don't really care what T is. So we'll leave that out. We just need T to exist. So that's fine. Negative value. Oh, yeah, from invalid input. There we go. Pretty easy. Pretty easy to work with here. And so now we just had the generic parameter constraints on the exception, because that's what we want to control at the end of the day. I come back over here. And now we can do something spicy like this. Guard dot from invalid input. Enumeration. Name of enumeration. There we go. And so now what we've done here is we've managed to, well, protect the rest of our statements. And that's the whole goal. That's kind of the whole point of these, right? Is we just want to make sure that we fail early. And then after we fail early, then we can actually do the rest of our manipulations. So that's how we're going to handle this as well. So with the rest of this in mind, you might be wondering, okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but what do we do for the rest of this method here? And that... Wolf, what's going on? That is what we're going to explore next. Albeit probably a little bit of a slower pace than expected, but we'll see. Not much. You know, just vibing. Just coding. Coding away.
Hi, Wolf.
And then we'll, of course, come down to the unsafe attribute here, because you'll notice that we haven't touched that yet, but we'll come down to it. But right now, we need to, of course, go and define some other methods here, because while this may implement iComparable, we haven't really, how do I put it? We haven't really done a whole lot here in terms of making sure that we maintain stability. And so what we want to do is we're going to want to, of course, check for things like our highest value, right? And the other thing with flags is we want to make sure that they are of a particular power or a power set. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go and try and find powers of 2. Don't forget to assert true life hack to get all your unit tests to pass. Or just not have unit tests at all, so badass. Why would I have unit tests in this project? Let's go into private static boolean here, right? And we'll just see is a power of 2, right? And so we'll put it in an integer and we'll do number to check. And here we can do if number to check is not 0 and this is a really fun little shift here, but we can do number to check bitwise comparison, number to check complemented, can I not use and like, yeah, I can't, damn it. Okay, so I'd have to do that. Can I do this? So we can go and return this. And so essentially the way this works is that we use our bitwise and here, right? And this is actually a pretty nifty operator because now what we're doing is we're just saying, hey, number to check. And this is going to evaluate essentially to pretty much working with the modulus operator. But in the idea that what we're going to do is we're just going to see, hey, does it go, well, 2 to the 0, right? Number to check, 1 minus 1, 0. 2 to 0 is going to be 2. 2 to 1 is going to be, no, 2 to 0 is 1. 2 to 1 is 2. 2 to 2 is 4, and etc. as we go up the chain. I swear, I've done math before, you know? I have a degree in math. It's fine. I'm allowed. It's scientifically proven. The higher you go up in math, the worse your arithmetic gets.
Yeah, because it's not arithmetic anymore.
Yeah,
It's just theories.
it also didn't help doing a lot of drugs, so. Okay. So now we have the idea of is a power 2, and part of the other reason is because the way an enum flag works is essentially when you have an enum, you can represent it as some sort of binary expression, which might look something like that, and it might look something like that, right? And so the way an enum flag works is when you go and combine them, now instead of representing it as 2 values, you're going to represent it as a single value. And we need to go and make sure because, right, in binary, this is still a power of 2. So that's kind of the idea. And that's what we're checking for here. Alrighty, friends, time for you to head to bed. Glad you could hop in for a minute. Have a good night, everybody. Yeah, of course, Sabanas, and thanks for the resub. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful night. And can we get another shout out to Sabanas? Find, or we'll call this get highest flag value. And here, what we'll do is we'll take in an I read only list, right? So this will preserve the thread safety. And we'll do, what is this? Is this going to be T key? I think this is T key here, right? Yeah, it's T key. And then we'll do, key list. Fine. And we'll do var greatest index equals enum was keylist dot count minus 1. And then we'll do var greatest value equals int 32 dot parse keyless oh, that's right. I could pass this in as an array and not really care, but whatever. Summers, what's going on? Can we get a shout out to Summers, please?
Summers.
Finally.
Finally?
She's been doing all the shoutouts.
Well, sorry, I've been making my bed for the past 10 minutes.
Well, get faster at making your bed.
Hey, it's my first time making my new bed, so...
Oh. Bobo, what's going on, Bobo? Thank you for the resub at tier 1 for the past 10 months. I appreciate it. How are we doing tonight, Bobo? How's everything going for you? How did you enjoy golf with your friends with Wolf? Oh, wait, you didn't actually play. Instead, we just watched. But anyway, that's not the point. Point is, how you doing, bud? Thank you so much for the resub. I hope you continue to enjoy your emotes as well as your ad-free viewing. Welcome back to the Home and Den. It's good to know you. And Chad, if you haven't heard of the amazing and wonderful and the most famous among us, Bobo KD, he is a top-tier Anarcute speedrunner, by the way, as well as he does feature pizza streams quite frequently, and
Pizza?
he loves Raspberry Patty Pockets. What a guy.
Nice.
So now we want to go and check if is a power 2 greatest value. Then, or if it's not a power 2, the greatest value, we kind of want to essentially massage it into a way to be a power 2. So we're going to go and return the greatest value here. So let's see here. What do we want the meat of the loop to do? Well, we want it to, of course, loop through at a rate where we can say this is the greatest index. So I'm going to do var I is greatest index. I is going to be less than 0. Just kidding. We're actually going to do greater than or equal to 0. And we'll decrement the loop as it goes through. So what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards from this list, right? Now, granted, there are different ways of doing this. So, for example, we could use a new index operator. And instead of doing this now, what we could do is we could essentially just pass this in as a particular enumerable instead of a read-only list, go back through, and just go back from the last index here, right? And this could actually work out to our advantage. So yep, good enough. So that should work. Do not use enumerable methods on indexable. Instead, use the collation directly. Sure. I like that. This is what I'm talking about. So we just do that. Okay, so now we have the greatest index here. And so what we want to do is we want to go and do something along the lines of our current value equals. And actually, I am going to grab this. And we're going to paste that there. And we're going to say, hey, if this is a power 2. go and set the greatest value that we have equal to the current value, and then get out of here. And I might go and invert this just to reduce the nesting here. So now if it's still not a power of 2, we continue on to the next iteration. If it is a power of 2, then we break out of the loop. And here, we'll do that. Okay. So now, if this is a power of 2, return the greatest value. Because that's what we want to do. Otherwise, come through here, go through the loop, and then return the greatest value at the end. Now, I imagine what we could also do is instead of this, we could do something a little silly. All right, because this breaks out of the loop, we could just do return current value and get rid of that. Oh, right, because it might not actually break out of here. So we still have to do it that way. Okay. So that's why that's set up that way. I am very smart. Okay, so we got that. That makes sense. So now, then the next thing that we're going to want to do is, of course, we want to deal with probably what the max value of this is going to be. So we can do, what is it? T key, T enumeration, get maximum value. And here we'll do var maximum field equals type of T enumeration dot get field, and we'll do that, and binding flags dot public, binding flags dot static. If max field is null, then we want to throw new not supported exception, name of, type of, enumeration, that name. Otherwise, var max value equals T value, T enumeration, and that should be good. And then all we need to do is return max value.
Okay, I definitely made the right decision in getting a pillow top.
Yeah?
I'm now laying in it, and I'm like, ah.
The toppers are really nice.
Oh, yeah. My mom is like, why don't I have a topper yet?
It do be like that.
Yeah, well, she also has a very firm mattress. So I'm like, well, you need to get a topper for it. So that way it's cushy.
That's a good idea. All right, so now let's go and define this as a private static void check enumerations provided for powers of 2. I enumerable of T key enumerations are enumerations as list equals enumerations at 2 list. All right, enumeration values equals enumerable dot empty. Two list. And then we would do for each bar enumeration in enumerations as list. Is there any particular reason why we would want to do it this way? Whatever.
It's all whatever, right?
At the end of the day, it really doesn't make too big of a difference. We can always just go through and make things better.
Yeah.
But what we want to do... Let's see. How do we want this to work out? And how do we want to handle this? We want to... enumeration values dot add and we will parse out the enumeration dot value dot to string, and we'll do that. This can be completed as a linked expression. And then actually we could do it like that. Enumeration values. Oh, okay. The content is only ever. Yeah, it's fine. We got that. Due to the 0 equals 1. Requires a little bit of thought, chat. I'm a little rusty. It's been a while since
It requires yawning too, apparently.
Well, yeah. You know, brain's hard at work, right?
Yeah, basically.
Let's see here. We want to parse out the first index as a string. So this would be
Oopsie.
value. Enumeration as list. So we want to pass that out. Use that.
Christmas music.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Initial power. Do that. And we'll do that. because then we want to enumerations as list dot remove at, and then we'll do for each.
Okay.
We'll do for each enumeration and the enumerations as list. Var enum value equals int32 dot parse enumeration dot value dot toString. Really shouldn't have a coalescing here, but whatever. If it is a power of 2,
Just makes it a square, right?
then do the initial power equal to the enum value and break. So we'll invert that, reduce nesting. CLs, what's going on? I'm not smelly, but how are you doing?
LCLs.
Love you too, CLs. We'll convert that into a link expression because why not?
Ooh, I like those.
Ooh, and we can convert this to a method group because why not? Fog. And look at how nice that is. Tails, thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate it. I'll get that in just a moment. So now that we have that, we're good here. So now we move on to the next part of this, which is essentially what we've been doing before, where we want to, so keep in mind, this is going to have some sort of linear based complexity, right? Because we're dealing with constantly iterating over and over and over, or well, that's the whole point of iteration, is we're constantly going through these lists. And the worst potential that we could do is go through every list. So it's not the worst, but it's not really the greatest. And using link methods as kind of a way to disguise this isn't also necessarily the greatest, but what can you do? You know, it is what it is. I'm not really one to be too picky here. I just want it to work. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
So now we can do var highest equals get highest flag value, enumerations as list, and then var current value going to be equal to the initial power. And so now we'll do while current value is not highest value. Just kidding. Can't do it that way. We got to do it this way. Our next power is going to be current value times 2. And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to grab a result, and our result is going to be enum says list dot binary search. So that way we split it, come back, split it, come back, split it, come back. Next power. And we want to do this in the enum values. So we'll grab this. We'll grab that. And now if result is less than 0, we will throw new invalid operation exception for now. And we'll come back to get this. But chat, we are going to take an ad break. I will be back in about 90 seconds. I'm going to get some water so I can fulfill LCL's request. And then we'll see what happens from
It should be Loki sharpening his claws.
All right, we are back.
Where do we go?
What?
Where do we go?
I went on a break to go and grab some more water. Which is good.
Yes, hydration is good. Oh, geez.
All right. Okay. So now that we have that, that's fine. We can just do. Let's see, string. No, I don't want to do that. We'll just do this. I don't really want to throw exceptions, but
No.
why not? Let's do it. Let's just build the message. Our message equals string dot format.
When drawing your very fluffy cat, it is always required to draw the fluff butt.
The fluff butt?
Yeah. Loki is a very fluffy booty. Huh. Fluffy cheeks, fluffy booty, and fluffy tail. Whoopsie. And now he's staring at me with the wildest eyes he could possibly give me.
As it do be.
He's like, wait, you took away all of my toys. All the things I'm playing with.
There we go. So now we have that. That's all set. So we're good there. And now we can actually go now we can actually go and do something like private, static, void, apply unsafe flags. Or allow unsafe flags. Papa Show, what's going on?
And of course, shouting out the glass.
Yep. Not much? Right on. We're just vibing here too. Of our attribute equals what is this? This allow unsafe enumeration keys. There we go. Perfect. Unsafe enumeration keys attribute. We'll go and allow that in. That's fine. And then we'll do attribute dot get custom attribute type of CT key type of allow unsafe, and that's good. So that'll work. And then we can do if attribute is null, check enumeration list or check enumerations for powers of 2. And then we'll pass in the keys. Well, thank you for checking out the pronouns as well. Of course, pronouns here are very important. We are an trans-inclusive channel. Many of the members of the community are part of the trans community, of course, and we want to make sure that they're known, they're loved, and we will always respect their pronouns whenever they feel comfortable sharing them with us.
Or Jay will bite you.
Exactly.
Jay will bite, I will bonk.
And of course, it does bring me to the next point of why we're supporting charities such as Girls Who Code and Mermaids, is because of the Omen's Den Charter. The Omen Den's Charter, which is essentially to make sure that software is accessible across cultural identities, boundaries, and just identities in general, whether they be gender, racial, etc. Because more global software and software that is from different perspectives is better software for everybody involved. And we owe it in the modern age, or just really in any age at all, to make sure that the lives of human beings are improved no matter what. And of course, trans rights are human rights, protect trans kids, and there's no such thing as a trans debate. There's just trans people trying to live. All right, so now let's do a private static void check enumerations provided. Check provided enumerations. God damn it. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see, a little bit easier to read.
Yeah.
So now, allow unsafe flags. And then what we can do... Oh boy. Let's see. What can we do? Nice meme on Kathy.
I don't even know if Kathy's still in chat, but it's fine.
Doesn't matter. She memes you all the time.
That's true, she does.
Let's see. T key. Create keys list. Dictionary. T key. Boolean. Enumeration flag states. So we'll do that. Var output equals enumerable empty t key. Pass that to a list. For each var entry in the enumeration flag states, what we want to do is if entry.value, so if that is particularly true, we'll do the output.add entry.key. Then this will probably tell me, hey, there's a better way to do this, or a cleaner way, and I'm always good with that. Hey, let's go.
Nice.
I do like cleaner ways of doing things. And then we do that, and then default if empty. Which will literally just be this. Actually, can I get away with just doing this? Nope. There's a better way to do this. So let's see here. And of course, I prefer to do method syntax, but whatever. Actually. Can do that. And here we can do that. There we go. That's why I like method syntax. It's just a little nicer for me to be able to read. So we got that. That's pretty nifty. Output, add range, where, select. Sure. And oh, damn it, I just spilled my water all over the place.
Oh no. I was wondering what that sound was.
It was not good.
Good thing that there really isn't
anything. Hopefully it didn't get on anything electrical.
Oh, it did. It got all over my keyboard.
Oh, jeez.
That's fine.
that's not something you want to get wet.
Yeah, well. You win some, you have compressed air for other things, and it still works, so. I'll be right back, chat.
You soak it in rice.
Be right back. All right. Now we'll see. We'll see how things work out after that. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
It'd be like that,
Gold.
though.
Oh, no.
Tentacles in this economy? Oh, boy, Kathy.
Apparently.
Kathy finally getting exactly what she wanted, you know?
Right. So that's a perfect way to describe the relationship that Discord and Twitch are having right now.
Right.
On again, off again.
All right. So let's see here. Value. Do that if value less than -1. That's not what I wanted. Not what we wanted at all. We wanted this to be an integer here. And then here we want to do enumerable. No, we'll do a list. That's fine. P key. input list. And we'll do this. Return highest flag value. And in here, we'll do input list times 2 minus 1. And because association in C Sharp's a real thing, we can remove the dependency or the parentheses. Good there. All right, so that's all set there. So now that we've done the groundwork, we can finally come back up here. And actually finish off this method, which is huge. So now we want to be able to say, okay, allow unsafe flags. Input keys. Sorry, I had to think about that for a moment there. Var maximum key value allowed be the calculate highest allowed flag, which will of course involve the input keys. And then var type maximum value is going to be going to get maximum value. And for each var enumeration in input keys. Our current enumeration as int is going to be int32.parse enumeration.
Oh,
Use the Kamehameha. Oh boy.
I did a powerful.
You did indeed. Dot value dot toString.
Why are you throwing Alu at me, Kathy?
Kathy hates me.
Apparently.
Do that. Check enumerations. Think.
No.
All right, that's fine. Private static void check enumerations for negative values. Yeah. Someone do that to you? Oh no.
You gotta meme it.
Get rid of that. God damn it. Spilling all that water really messed me up.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fine. It just took me off guard.
Oh. Yeah.
Wait. There we go. Huh.
No, don't do that.
Oh.
Well,
There we go. That'll change it. Nope. We'll call it key. There we go. That won't get confusing. Spoiler
hopefully.
alert. It got confusing.
Everything up. Keys of a keyboard, piano, keys to a house, or key as an energy.
Right.
All right.
There we go. So we do that if as int input value our new list key key. There we go. That'll work. Then if input value -1 or value that equals typed maximum value let's see.
Oh,
Hmm?
my phone was doing something silly.
What was going to be silly?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Got it. One of these days, I'm going to get my hearing tested again.
Yeah. It also might be the fact that my mic wasn't picking stuff up properly. Oh. Ah. That was a good pop.
No wonder. Left shift is picking up my Z.
Maybe.
All right, I'm going to have to go and get some compressed air in this tomorrow and figure that out.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't make your keyboard die altogether.
It won't. I have a warranty on it, too.
Oh.
Also, try putting it in rice.
But I also have a bunch of other keyboards, so whatever.
True.
It's annoying, but it's not the worst.
Yeah.
No?
Is that the only electronic thing the water spilled on?
Yeah.
Okay. No, if it spilled into your PC, I'd be extremely worried.
But now I'm a little concerned.
What, do you think it dead now?
No, because now I can't type.
Oh. Oh no. Yeah, I see you hitting keys.
Huh.
And it's like, nope.
Huh. That can of compressed air still good?
That would be a very good question. Ah, if my cat had heard that, he would have gone running.
Damn it.
That is not what I wanted to do. I was hoping for a random Kamehameha.
Uh-huh. Whoops. Then we will go and do this the old-fashioned way, I suppose. And by old-fashioned way, I mean...
Copy paste?
Yep.
Do you just not want to get your other keyboards out, or are they in boxes?
They're not as pretty.
I mean...
Red Joe, thank you for the follow. Welcome on into the Omen Den. Hope you enjoy your follower emotes, and I hope you don't mind me working with a broken keyboard like an absolute potato. Probably not broken, actually. Probably what I need to do is just either reset it or clean up. See? Very pretty keyboard.
Yeah, pretty versus functional, though. It might be pretty, but if it's not working...
All I needed was a little compressed air. It's fine.
Oh, maybe? if that was an actual valid code, that would be hilarious.
Hey, Red
and
Joe,
the
hope
overlays.
you're doing well.
Yep, the overlay's doing that stupid thing again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll do that. I don't know why it does that continuously, but...
It's just like, we just want to constantly celebrate the new follower. That's all we're doing.
Right? Actually, I think... You know what? I'll get back to that in just a moment. Let's do N64 dot...
Is it N64?
No.
I mean, granted, I still can't get Streamlabs to actually do my follower overlays at all, so it's just broken overall, I guess.
Okay. Oh. Hey. Hey.
What? Oh no, oh no, oh no. The code, it's just thinking. It's just thinking, right?
Nothing we can't solve. God damn it. That's not where I wanted to be.
Just dot, 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 dot.
And this isn't it either. Because this should be... Not this. Be this. That where X value to string. All right, listen, you're either with me or you're against me, keyboard, and right now I need you to be with me.
It's trying its best.
No, it's a right keyboard.
And 64 dot parse, and then we would do greater than 0. So chat, what you might not have seen is that I just spilled water all over this keyboard, and because of that it's deciding to misbehave. But I want to teach it a goddamn lesson,
Spank the keyboard.
That it needs to obey me.
Spank it.
No. It's already
Being a
been through
bad
enough.
keyboard face.
Don't punish it like that. It's already been traumatized enough.
Needs to get traumatized again.
I mean, it wasn't the keyboard's fault that water spilled on it.
Close enough.
Uh,
There we go.
Spank it.
We're
Kathy,
good there.
Kathy, why?
Kathy, why do you keep wanting to put smelly underwear on people?
She put smelly underwear on me last night, so I guess it's your turn.
I guess so.
I mean, I don't know. It might not necessarily be a bad smell. Could be perfume smell.
I wouldn't read too much into it. No. Continues on like this. Might just have to end early. That might be the case. And then I'll have to go and fix my keyboard by tomorrow.
I was gonna say, can
Later.
water damage like that be fixed?
Oh yeah.
Just don't spill alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Actually, alcohol might be a little bit better because it evaporates
True.
faster.
Yeah, it'll evaporate.
Most alcohol has other things in it, like sugar.
Yeah.
True. It'll be all sticky.
Yeah, but chances are what I'll use to clean this out is some isopropyl. So.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's
some
evaporate that stuff.
good old compressed air. And I'll let it soak over time. In any case. We've been going for a little less than what I normally like to, but I guess I can just file this out. Water damage.
Right.
Good enough. And then, yeah, I'll just go and continue this, and we'll get on it tomorrow. But chat, sorry about that. I think what I need to do is just hang my keyboard upside down for a bit, let the water drain out, and then dry the rest. But in any case, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to this screen. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea. We're going to go and raid, assuming he's still streaming. Is he still streaming?
Which one?
Is he? Is he? He is.
Which one?
Which one?
We're gonna go and raid Garuku, Blue Moon, the furry man.
Smelly, furry, stinky.
And so thank you, Jay. Thank you, Caden, for joining in. But I'm gonna go and wrap up stream and get out of here.
Okay.
So have a good night, you two.
Bye.
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 So yeah, we are gonna go and raid Gar. Gar's a good friend, and we love him dearly. And we're gonna raid him with our raid message, which is the Comfy Call raid. And we want to go and, of course, spread love, comfort, and pride wherever we go. Sorry about ending so early, but technical difficulties happen. Anyway, chat, I will see you hopefully later today. That's our raid message. I will hopefully see you later today for some more coding, and we'll pick up where we left off, and hopefully we'll get out of here with some good work. But good work today. We did get a lot done. It's now out there on the cloud in our GitHub repo, and yeah, it's been fun. I've been Alu, and from the Omen Den, I'll see you next time.